right, our next live session will be with Devin on August 7th. It'll be Mindfulness of Thought. So I'll see you guys next Monday with Devin. This Wellness Wednesday, we are hosting our Parkinson's 101, what you and your family should know. So if you're new to Parkinson's disease or just want a refresher on the baseline kind of knowledge about Parkinson's disease, or have a friend or a family member that's interested in learning more about what's impacting your life, they can join us this Wellness Wednesday for our program Parkinson's 101. And Delia will drop the link in the chat, parkinson.org/pdhealth. Always love to remind you of our comprehensive website, parkinson.org, and our helpline, 1-800-4PD-INFO, or helpline at parkinson.org. So this week, we are welcoming a new face, a new member to our Mindfulness Mondays at the Parkinson's Foundation. I had the pleasure of connecting with Lisa online. We got to connect in person, and Lisa has recently spoken at one of our education events in Asheville, North Carolina. So Lisa, I'm not going to steal or capitalize any more of the time that we are so honored to share with you today. So Lisa will be walking us through a mindfulness practice on pain management. Lisa, if you would share a little bit about yourself, and welcome to our mindfulness community.
Thank you, Krista, and thank you all so much for having me here today. I am grateful for this opportunity to connect with you in this practice today. As Krista said, my name is Lisa Varno. I live and work here in Asheville, North Carolina, at a lovely medical practice called Lantern Health, where I work as an integrative health coach and also offer mindfulness-based stress reduction, or MBSR, here at our practice, which is what we'll be talking a little bit about today. But for me, mindfulness has really helped me to stay flexible in how I relate to my pain. This is what we're here to talk a bit about today, which it can be a hard topic. You know, our society, our culture, we tend to not want to look at pain. We want to look at everything but that, or experience everything but that. And mindfulness has really helped me to relate to pain in a new way. And this practice can be a really accessible handhold, as it's a way to savor elements of life, to non-identify with our pain, to recognize it, but not to identify with it, to build the ability to tune into parts of ourselves that aren't in pain, and to relate to the pain that's there with a broader view. This practice has really helped me put on a different pair of glasses, so to speak, to see a little more clearly and to hold a different perspective. And so I'm curious to learn a bit more about your experiences too. If you want to share a little bit about your pain experience in the chat, if you want to, you don't have to, but any words that come to mind to describe your pain or where you feel the pain. Just to acknowledge that each of you, your pain experience is different and unique to each of you. And I acknowledge that I don't know anything about your specific experience with pain. And we all may find different ways to meet it, to live with it, to manage it, to work with it. And this practice is just peeking in the door of something that could be helpful. So yeah, I'm seeing a comment here, Basha. The pain feels heavy, upper thighs and frozen shoulder. Chronic pain is debilitating. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing that too. Yeah, Joseph, pain predominantly in mid and lower back. There's some morning nausea that's been noted. Any other comments that you want to share about your pain experience, feel free to just tune into the chat function here. Any other descriptive words or where you feel your pain? Lifelong migraines. Kathleen, that's really challenging. Basha, also fibromyalgia, as well as this newly diagnosed Parkinson's disease. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. So as we're seeing these come in, yeah, Julie saying it's hard to focus on anything else when she's experiencing pain. That might be, yeah, I'm seeing some nodding happening from a couple people just as we're seeing this. Yeah, so it's just important to acknowledge that we're not alone in this. You know, this is a really beautiful moment in time where we can acknowledge our pain and support one another in that. Oh, embarrassment, fear of what's to come. Here's some other comments coming through. Total knee replacement, ooh, lower back pain. Having to get in, you have to get into a tub of hot water to help that pain. Bosch was sharing. Okay. Yeah. I'm seeing some yeses too in the chat. Some people that are acknowledging, yes, I have that experience too. So we're not alone in this. It's really important to acknowledge that. I'm seeing that the voice is low, so I'm going to come closer to the computer. Hope that's better. Thanks for that. Okay, so one thing also to acknowledge is that there's this thing called the gate control theory. And there are things that can open the gate to allow more pain signals to travel to the brain, and then things that can close the gate. And I'm curious if there's things maybe that come to mind that open this gate for you, like maybe stress, tension, or over focusing, really zooming in, narrowing in on the pain, or things that might close it for you, like relaxation, contentment, or being involved with and taking an interest in life, or intense concentration on something else, or movement. Maybe that is a way to close the gate of pain for you, or maybe medication or other suggestions by your healthcare team. Yeah, some yeses here in the chat. Stress or focusing on the new pain. Yeah. Oh, Joseph's mentioning that meditation helps reduce his experience of pain. Yeah, heat can be supportive. Meditating with breath exercises. Yeah, so here's what we're here to do, to tie the two together. How can mindfulness meet our pain experience? And so a little bit about mindfulness. I know that you're familiar with this, but just so we're all on the same page, mindfulness is not a quick fix or a cure-all, a religion, a means to escape or zone out or empty our mind, but it is a non-judgmental, receptive mind state in which one observes thoughts, feelings, and sensations in the body just as they are, without trying to suppress or deny them. And just really simple definition is kind awareness. So mindfulness can give us this capacity to create a bit more space to accept what's here, what's already here, without eradicating it, and also without letting it fill up our whole world. And that kindness, kind awareness is a really important element. You know, self-compassion is really goes hand in hand with mindfulness. And Dr. Kristen Neff is a leader in this field of self-compassion research, if you want to learn more about self-compassion. But she just notes that practicing compassion for ourselves is really similar to practicing for someone else, like noticing they are suffering. And so we might just take this moment and reflect, okay, there's some suffering, there's some pain that moves through this body. Another element of practicing compassion for others is feeling moved by others' suffering. Yes, Basha, I agree. Self-compassion is hard, and it's something that we can practice and strengthen. Offering understanding and kindness rather than judgment is another element. And so understanding that, yes, pain is part of this moment, this experience, and offering kindness in that we can to ourselves, rather than judging ourselves, beating ourselves up for having pain. And also recognizing that suffering is part of this shared human experience. That's another piece of self-compassion practice. So we're not alone in this. As we just saw from the chat here, you know, there's pain. We each are experiencing pain in some way. So today in our practice, we're going to work with our pain experience. And we're going to explore the body scan meditation, which some of you may have experienced before. And as we do that, we might notice pleasant experiences in our body. We might notice neutral or non-sensations in the body. And we might also come across pain or discomfort within the body. And if the pain or discomfort that's there is because of the way we're sitting, we can adjust ourselves, then certainly take wise action and adjust your posture as needed. However, if the pain is there and it's due to something beyond our control, we're going to work with that. We're going to meet that today with kind awareness. And one thing I'll invite you to explore, if you're open and want to today in this practice, is to kind of dip your toe in the water with that pain where you feel it. We're not going to go all the way in and dig in or bear down on that pain that we feel today. But if and when you come across pain in the body, I would invite you to explore just dipping a toe in it, so to speak, like you're dipping your toe in the water just to kind of test the waters and see how it is. And then we can broaden from feeling, exploring the pain. We can zoom out and maybe come to a neutral or a pleasant place in the body. And I'll guide us through that in a moment, but this is just a little bit of an overview. If the pain feels overwhelming or unbearable, and there's a part of you that just says, I can't even look at it, something you could explore instead of dipping your toe in the water could be just exploring around the edges. Is there a way to explore what size this is or shape it's taking in the body? And can we just explore right around the edge of that pain where we feel it in the body? We can also explore this in life outside of meditation practice. So we could say, yes, this is a painful life experience. And also, at the same time, the tip of my nose is not in pain, or my ability to hear sound is not in pain. So it's this idea that we can have this and also this, that there's space for multiple experiences. I like to also think of it like salt in a glass, in a small glass, and it's really concentrated. Or what would it be like if this salt or this pain is in a lake, the same amount of salt? The salt is still there, but there's more space for that salt to be held and to be recognized. And we can also notice, there's the edge of the lake with these beautiful plants, and there's turtles that are resting on the limbs of the trees that are peeking out of the water. And we can notice this and also this without zooming in or narrowing in on the salt or the pain. Mm-hmm. Kathleen's chiming in saying she tries to do something for a friend or family member when you're overwhelmed by pain. Okay, thanks for sharing that. Just by sending a friendly text, she says, or sometimes something inspirational or humorous, something interesting. So sometimes thinking beyond ourselves rather than zooming in on that pain can be supportive. Thanks for sharing that, Kathleen. And so we're going to transition here at this moment to a bit of practice, this body scan meditation. And the goal of this body scan is not to relieve the pain completely. We're not waving the magic wand, but we're here to get to know it and get to learn from it, this pain, so we can manage it. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kathleen. She chimed in saying, I really like this idea of identifying and tuning into parts of my body that are not experiencing pain. Yeah. So it depends, what glasses are we wearing? Are we wearing the glasses where we just are seeing and feeling the pain? Or are we zooming out a bit? Can we see, my shoulders, it's feeling okay. Or my nose or my ear or my eyebrows aren't feeling any pain. Or my left big toe is feeling pretty neutral. So we'll explore today through this body scan to really tune into all that's here. The pain, the discomfort, while also neutral or non-sensations, or maybe even pleasant experiences that are here. So finding a comfortable position for your body in this moment. You can choose to lie down, you can choose to sit, you can choose to stand. So whatever your body needs to experience here as we scan through the body, just take a moment to get situated. And you might want to close your eyes, or for you, you might want to keep your eyes open and just have a soft gaze down toward the floor, knowing that you are in the driver's seat of your own experience as we practice. And what I offer is just a suggestion that you can try out for yourself and see if it resonates. So as we pause and invite the body to just be right here in this moment, we might notice that the mind is busy or thinking, reflecting, and that's okay. It's workable. We can have thoughts. We don't have to push them away. But let's see if we can bring our awareness, our attention into the body and redirect our mind as many times as we need to. If we're thinking, just redirect, start again, and sense the body. So let's bring our awareness down into the feet and the toes and just explore what sensations or non-sensations are here in the feet and the toes. And again, if there's an experience of pain, we can work with this. We can turn toward it, dip our toes in, so to speak. And then if it becomes a bit too much, we can zoom out. We can notice another part of the body that's neutral or at ease or pleasant. So turning toward, exploring, and then broadening as needed, not to a place of overwhelm with our pain. And then let's meet the ankles. Just start to become curious about the ankles, any sensations here. Becoming aware of the shins and the calves. And remembering this is kind awareness, right? So we're not criticizing or judging or measuring. We're just meeting what's here in the shins and the calves, just sensing, allowing. And then moving up into our knees, just circling our awareness, this kind awareness to the knees, sensing what's here in this moment. Knowing this is just right now. This is what's happening now. And starting to become aware of the thighs, the upper legs, just sensing what's here. And again, if there's any sensation of pain or discomfort, just turning toward gently, dipping a toe in, or just around the edges. And then knowing we could broaden our perspective to a larger part of the body or a different part altogether if that's needed. And then exploring the hips, just sensing what's known right now in the hips, what's felt in this part of the body. Just discovering what's here, opening to what's here. And then beginning to broaden and notice the whole right leg and the right foot, and sensing the whole left leg and the left foot. Just noticing, how does it feel to hold a larger part of the body with this view, with all of its many parts and sensations. Noticing this connection, this wholeness of the right leg and the left leg. And sensing up into the pelvic region. Just becoming aware of what's felt in this moment in the pelvic region. And then beginning to become curious about the lower back and the abdomen. Just sensing what's here now. Maybe something pleasant or neutral. Maybe something unpleasant, maybe even pain. Just opening to what's here, what's known, what's felt. And moving up into the rib cage, the middle back. Maybe noticing our breath expanding and contracting with each inhalation and exhalation. Sensing up into the upper back and the shoulders and the chest. Maybe noticing our heartbeat or any other sensations or non-sensations here. Without any judgment, just meeting what's here. And sensing into the whole torso. Many parts connected and whole, just as it is. And sensing up into the shoulders and the armpits. Discovering the upper arms. The elbows. The forearms. And turning toward the wrists, noticing what's here. How are they known? And then how about the hands, the fingers and thumbs? Sensing what's here. And staying gentle. And then zooming out again, holding this entire right arm, right hand with awareness, and then the whole left arm, left hand. And leading up into the neck and throat, just sensing what's here. The jaw, the muscles in the face, awareness of the eyes, taking in light and shadow. The ears, taking in sound. The nose and nostrils, taking in breath, releasing breath. And sensing this whole head and neck region with so many intricate parts connected and whole, just as it is. And then again, zooming out to include this whole body with kind awareness, just surrounding the whole body, inside and out. So many different sensations and parts, connected and whole, just as it is in this moment. As we offer this kind awareness, just reflecting, this is a practice of self-compassion, gentleness. Acknowledging we all have a body that has various sensations at any given moment. Sometimes pain, sometimes ease and relaxation, and sometimes neutral or non-sensations might flow through. And all are welcome. They're all part of this human experience. And so as you feel ready, just take a moment to maybe breathe a little deeper as we transition from this practice back to reflection with the group. Maybe starting to make a little movement in the body if that feels welcome, maybe wiggling fingers or toes or moving your head or your neck or shoulders if that feels welcome in your body, or any other movement, just reawakening here. And we'll come back to our awareness of the space outside of our body here, this group, this community we're in. And so an opportunity, if you'd like to share what that experience was like for you, what you noticed in the chat. Feel free to add that here. We'd love to see how that experience was for you today. Wondering if the chat is open at this point, Krista. I see that the chat was paused, so let's see if we can reopen that chat.
Yep,
Oh, great, thank you. Oh, thank you. It was, oh, great. I'm glad it was awesome and amazing. I'm seeing this from iPad, and there's a thumbs up to that comment as well. Glad you enjoyed your experience. Relaxing, says Joseph. Yeah, okay. Thank you for offering the time to return to the body and away from the thinking mind. Moving up the body, the tension at the base of my head eased up. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing that. Any other shares from your experience? Maybe there's challenge too. It doesn't have to always be this warm and fuzzy. Sometimes it can be challenging. We're just making space for all experience. Calm and peaceful. Thank you, Krista. Yeah. And are there any questions just from this? Okay. Once identify the area of pain, how to address it, Joseph says. This is a great question. Well, so once we identify, all right, there's pain here, then there's this question of what's needed now, right? And so for some of us, it may be, all right, I actually need to adjust the way I'm sitting, right? So taking wise action. Or there's something I feel like I can't personally do about it. So meeting this pain with space, with compassion, with kindness, with grace and ease. And also noting that it's part of the whole, right? Like we just practice in this experience. And that there are other modalities too that could be offered, chatting with your healthcare team to support your pain. Yeah. Rebecca sharing, I appreciate the wholeness of the sensations, welcoming all sorts of feelings, pain and neutral and positive. Yes, that they're all part of this whole experience. Yeah. Any other comments or questions here before we transition back to Krista? Chronic versus acute pain. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Yes, there's a comment about chronic versus acute pain. Exactly. So yeah, there may be chronic pain that's long lasting or acute pain that might be more short-term focused. And was there a question from Richard? I'm just not sure, or he was just wanting to chat about the differences between the two. Monica's sharing, sometimes I need to try to stay with it, right? This pain versus my tendency to want to try and fix it, right? Or try to make it go away. So to meet it, right? To stay with it, Monica says, yeah. Well, thank you all so very much for joining today and practicing with me. I appreciate the time and space for this practice and just creating a community virtually. It's really a rich community you're all a part of. And Krista, thank you so much for enjoying inviting me. I enjoyed it so very much.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. I know pain management comes up a lot, and it's one of our more popular sessions when we go through the modalities of mindfulness and how to manage our relationship with pain and our experience with pain. So, really appreciate you for bringing some lightness to a heavy subject, as some of us directly wrote in the chat. So, Lisa will be joining us for another session in the fall, so stay tuned for that date coming down the pipeline. Next week is mindfulness of thoughts. So a lot of our pain is associated in the way that we think and address our relationship to pain. So this thinking mind that I alluded to can really inflate our experience with pain, and it can also help ease some pain. So I invite you to come back next week with Devin. We'll be talking about the mindfulness of our thoughts. And for those of you who are recently or newly diagnosed, please reach out to our helpline. We have a diverse and comprehensive information on how to navigate your recent diagnosis of Parkinson's disease and beyond. So thank you all so much for joining us. Lisa, such an honor to have you in this space with us, and we can't wait to see you again. May you all be well. May you stay present and have some fun today. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.